Well, howdy there. Welcome to another awesome episode of Hackabilly's. I know it's been a long time. Had to take a little bit of a break. Life got pretty busy, so decided I'd make a little video. Got some time off around the holidays here, so let me show you what we're working on today. This is my 1991 F250 Custom, and it's been sitting for a little while, which, if you know anything about vehicles, the absolute worst thing you can do is let them sit, and unfortunately that's kind of what's happened to this thing. Now, I've put a lot of miles on this truck, and it's really just in need of, I don't know, a pretty good going through. But today I'm just going to try to get it running again. It'll turn over. I've messed with this the other day, and it'll hit sometimes, but I don't know, we gotta figure some things out. There's been some mice living inside of it, and well, I'll just show you on the inside. Well, as you can see on the inside here, there's a professional body guy put those in, or unprofessional, I don't know which, but yeah, you can see all the mouse evidence. There's a lot in the engine bay too, but I never put the carpet or the vinyl floor back in it after I patched the floor, so I don't know if I'll get around to that today. But today's just gonna be, can we get it to fire off again? I will say, my dad bought some of these. They're essentially like mothballs, like you used to buy, but they don't smell as strong. And I will say, there's been less evidence of mice living in it since he put those in there, so they seem to actually work. That all the evidence now is just what was already there. So let's stick a battery in this thing and see what it'll do. All right, hopefully this thing stays focused. Kind of working solo today. I charged this battery up, and it seems to be holding the charge pretty well, so hope that helps us out. Here we have a 351 Windsor, and it's got a E4 OD transmission, so automatic. I just put some fresh gas in it. When I parked it without much gas in it, so that actually is probably a good thing, but we'll see. See what we can do here. Cycle the fuel pump 3 or 4 times. See what we can get. This is an EFI truck, so don't really have a carburetor to mess with, which is kind of good in some ways and bad in others. Uh-oh. Did we lose connection on the battery? I ain't even trying now. Sometimes the neutral safety switch is a little messed up on this one. Yeah, that's what it was. I wonder if that's what it is. No, that's not neutral. That's not neutral. All right. Let's try some things here. Oh. Okay. I know the fuel pump's working. I can hear it cycling. Let's get rid of that buzzing noise. So that kind of leads me down the path of maybe it's spark. There's a Schrader valve right there. I can test fuel pressure, so, or at least see if it's even has any. If not, I have more gas I can put in the rear tank if maybe the pump in the front tank got, completely varnished over or something. So, all right, let me get a couple things together, and then I'll bring you back in and we'll see what we can find out. Okay, I feel like we're getting fuel. This is going to be kind of difficult because I need to check for spark now, and there's really no good way for me to do this. So I'm going to set the camera up right here, if I can get it to stay, and then you guys can tell me whether we have spark or not. Man, this is really no great way to set this up. So hopefully it should spark against the header there. I may have to resituate some things if that doesn't work. Okay. Look right down there, and hopefully there's a blue spark jumping across there. Well, what did you think? Did you see anything? Oh, thanks for looking for that. Looks like we got pretty good spark. You know, definitely enough to start it, fire it off, but it's kind of hard to check for fuel pressure because I really need to cycle the key while depressing that Schrader valve there. I will say, at least on the front tank, I hear the fuel pump, but there is really no pressure built up in that valve. So I've checked it on the front tank. I guess I'll pull that cap back off and test it on the rear tank and see if it's a pressure issue, because we need fuel, air, and spark. We've got air. I feel like we have fuel. Granted, all I can hear is the fuel pump running. I may pull this air box off too. It may be crammed full of stuff, which I probably should check that first. But yeah, just keep going through the process of elimination here. There it is. Okay, I mean, it's dirty, but it's not crammed full. Now, there's nothing in the intake hoses, so I suppose that's a positive. And there's a couple shells in here, a little bit of droppings, but nothing that would keep it from breathing. That filter is dirty as can be. Wow. The guy that owned this really should have changed it. I really don't want to just go spraying stuff into the throttle body. I don't, especially like brake clean or something, you don't really want to be spraying that on those sensors that are, in part of all the EFI system. You can kind of get away with that on a carburetor, but I may see what I can find. If there's any carb or throttle body cleaner around here. I don't have any with me. And just see if I give it just a little mist of something, if it'll fire off. I'm going to put a little bit of gas in the rear tank. It shows it has gas in it, and I can hear the fuel pumps on both of them running pretty clear as day. But there also could be a clog in maybe the fuel filter or something. So actually, I have a fuel filter for this truck somewhere. I thought maybe I put it in here with it, but it doesn't look like I did. I don't know. I'll look around and see what I can find. Okay, I really hate to do this. I found some starting fluid. It's really about the only thing that I found. I'm just gonna give it a little hoot off this can and see if it'll at least hit. That was way too much. Well, nothing. I don't think the starting fluid even made it to the throttle body. Probably evaporated off before I could get in there and hit the key. Okay, we got some good news. Well, sort of good news. When I cycle the key, sorry for that buzzer, it is so annoying. Okay, I hear the fuel pump. I have switched it to the rear tank because I was not getting any fuel pressure out of the front. So that leads me to believe that the front tank's pump is not good. So, which unfortunately is where I just put all the gas. You can see how wet everything is now. When I push on the Schrader valve, yeah, we got fuel. So it was not doing that with the front tank. Now I've got gas everywhere. That's awesome. But we have fuel pressure. Cycle the key a couple more times. We know we've got fuel. We know we've got air. And we know we have spark, at least on one cylinder. Should be spinning over fast enough. Okay. It may not be spinning over quite fast enough. Well, man, that sucks because I put all that gas in the front tank, but the back tank is really low. Maybe I'll throw just a couple gallons in it. I don't want to throw all I have in it. I'll put a little bit into that tank. Yes, it got wrecked on the side. We got to put a new bed on it, which I have. So here's the setup. The battery's okay. It's kind of starting to run down, so maybe we're losing some cranking speed. So I have the most sketchiest looking battery charger that I know nothing about. Looks like it's been underwater for about 10 years. That will be plugged into an extremely long extension cord, which is plugged into another extremely long extension cord to the outlet against, well, the best kindling known to man, dry leaves. So, no chance of fire here. Perfect. This will work great. Okay, I didn't turn that battery charger on the highest setting. I just turned it on 40 amp because I do not trust it. So, a little more cranking speed. Not a lot, but a little. And that doesn't really seem to be making any difference. I put about 2 gallons of fuel in that rear tank, and that's what we're on. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're on rear tank. Can kick that up to 200. Now let's try it. Oh, come on. You see the RPM signal going up. What is going on there? We got oil pressure. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I don't really know what we got going on here. Oh crap, yeah, we're smoking. Yeah, I say we cut that off. That got really hot. Yeah, that's wow. Okay, well, we're not going to use that anymore. That was dumb. Whew, that stinks too. This may be a comeback to it a little later with a few more things. For right now, brought the old Milwaukee vacuum. I'm going to get all the junk kind of vacuumed out of here. May go ahead and pull the seat out today and throw the carpet back in it and the seat, I just threw the seat back in it and loosely put the bolts in. So I'll go ahead and get those bolted back in, get the seat belts bolted back in, and just kind of focus on that stuff for today so I can come up with a few more ideas and things to check. And I don't know, it may run yet today, but we gotta kind of get a different plan of attack now. All right, I might be getting somewhere now. I came in and vacuumed all this out. I let the battery sit on that charger on this lowest charge setting, or sorry, like the middle charge setting on 40. And I also popped the one breather hose off, and I shot a little bit of starter fluid down in there, just a quick little shot to get it to hit. And now it's starting to hit like it wants to start. So let's see what it'll do. Hey, now it's running. It doesn't have much for an exhaust on here. Just kind of goes to a muffler that leaks terribly. As you can see, that pipe is falling apart. Got a leak back there. That's idling pretty well. I'd say it's got down to the fresh fuel by now. I really wonder if that was probably the issue the whole time, and it just needed a little help. I got most of this vacuumed out. I think I'm going to hold off on pulling the seats back out and putting the carpet in, because I want to put some sound deadener in the floor. Stick that back on there. Go check the gauges. Got really good oil pressure. You can see that's about how much fuel I put in it. We'll see if the temp gauge comes up. Charging. Idling about 850 RPM. That's a good start. Now I gotta take the majority of this stuff. Some of it's stuff to keep, but most of it's stuff to get scrapped. So need to haul it to the scrap yard. Got a lot of body work that needs done on this thing. Like I said before, I have a different bed for it. I get the bed put on it, and then it'll be time for a lot of body work and paint and all that good stuff. Also gonna have to come up with some new wheels and tires for it. These really aren't too bad, but they're starting to crack, and they're all kind of that way now. But those are 16.5-inch wheels. Those are just some wagon wheels that I kind of cobbled together for cheap. So get some legitimate wheels for it. Alright, so I've had it sitting here idling for a few minutes now. You can see our temperature gauge has come up, and it's just kind of hanging out there about the end, which is good. We're still on the rear tank, so if I flip this to front and it dies, then that'll tell us the state of the front fuel pump. It looks like the sending unit will work because it showed about 3/8 of a tank or so. So let's see, if it dies, then our front fuel pump is bad. Oh, it's stumbling. Well, darn, huh. That means we'll be dropping that front tank. All right, we'll flip it back to rear. Fire right back up on the rear tank. So I'll add that to the list. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll be back to posting again. I know it's a short one today, but at least it was successful. Got the old truck running again. And hopefully over the course of this winter, I can get it home and really start kind of working on it and have a pretty reliable, decent truck again. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and we'll see you in the next one.